Hello, 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 hello to Class 6D at the LGB campus for the International School of Geneva and to your fantastic teacher, Mr. James. Hello, my name is Alistair Humphreys. I am an adventurer and an author, and I've written some books that I think you guys have been reading. Ta-da! Thank you so much for reading some of my books, and thank you for sending me all these brilliant questions. I'm going to get on with them because there's plenty. It's great. Rebecca says, what was your favourite book you wrote? Ooh. Well, favourite. I like this one because this has sold the most copies of my books. I like this one because it's quite cool to have a book that's full of pictures and it just looks really nice, feels really nice. I like this one because it's my newest, so usually when the book is new I'm still interested in it. But also, well, I've got another one here. I guess I like this one because this is the first book I wrote, and writing your first book is pretty hard. And once you've done it, you have confidence, so that feels good to have got that done. Kian says, ask a question about taking risks on journeys. Risks. Taking risks is really important in life. If you want to do things that are difficult and you want to have a life that's interesting and you want to be the best at things and you want to make the most of your potential to really push yourself hard, you have to dare yourself to take risks. But you also have to learn to take sensible risks, not just to do something that's so totally crazy that you'll definitely die, definitely fail, definitely lose all your money, but to take small risks, little steps that scare you a bit, but when you do it you think, oh, that wasn't so bad, and next time you feel a bit more confident and a bit more confident. So learning to take risks in everyday life, in school life and adventures is a really, really important one. Ella asks, what adventure did I like most of all? It's hard to say. I like adventures for different reasons. If you look on YouTube for My Midsummer Morning, you'll see a video of me playing the violin really badly, walking through Spain. And I really loved that adventure because it was something totally different. Trying to play the violin. I had no money, no credit card, no wallet, no money at all. So if I wanted food, I had to play the violin and earn money. And I was so bad at the violin that was a real scary adventure for me. So I'm just going to take my jumper off. Getting hot. Nicholas says, what have you learned from your journeys? Wow. Well, that is a big, long, difficult question. What have I learned? Well, I've learned about myself. I've learned that I can do things that I used to think were too difficult. I can succeed at challenges that I thought might have been too hard. So adventure's given me self-confidence. It's given me more determination. It's made me a bit braver about going to speak to people and trying new things. I learnt a lot of geography from going to different countries. But I've also learnt about different cultures. If you watch the news or read the newspapers, you see all this horrible stuff in the world. But I've learnt, being out in the world, that nearly everyone is good and kind and interesting, just like you and your friends are, or me and my friends are, and that the world's a good and kind place. That's what I've learnt. Harrison says, how rough was it when you rowed across the Atlantic? Well, luckily it wasn't quite as rough as the front cover picture of my book. We did have some big waves, big waves. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's waves as big as a bus, scary waves that whack the boat. You have to hang on tight. We had storm, but we didn't have hurricanes, thank goodness, and I didn't capsize. That was very, very glad about that. Ding! Sorry, my computer's beeping at me. Stop beeping at me. I'm busy, computer. Can't you see? I'm talking to these nice people in Geneva. Jack says, what's the best reason to go exploring? The best reason to go exploring is... Well, you've asked me for the best. I'll give you a few. You learn about yourself. It's fun. You see exciting, wild, beautiful places. You learn how important nature is and how we really need to start taking care of it. You learn about different cultures and people, and that helps you trust people and be kinder and look after people in the world. But you asked for the best reason. So the best reason to go exploring is that it's exciting. And don't we all want excitement in our life? Alexia, what inspired me to go on the adventures you write about? Well, what originally inspired me were the characters in this book. Reading other people's books that told me about their adventures. So it's other people's adventures that inspired me to go on my adventures. These days, what inspires me is reading books, seeing films, seeing stuff online that makes me just want to go to different places. Plus also, writing is my job these days. So I suppose something else that inspires me is when I look in the bank and I see my money going, I think, oh no, I need to write another book. That inspires me to get to work. Ivan, were there some problems that blocked your way to becoming an explorer? Not really. I'm so lucky. Things are so easy, really, for me in terms of trying to do adventures. I'm a man, which generally has made things easier than being a woman for going on adventures. I'm a white guy, so I have less prejudice in the world. I'm fit. I'm not disabled. I come from Britain, so I've got a passport, which means I can travel off around the world. I've got good education, so I can get a job and earn money for adventures. So I'm so lucky. Adventures have been easier for me than for most people in the world and most people in history. And it's important for me to remember that. When I say to everyone, go on adventures, I have to remember that it's not so easy for a lot of people in the world. Farah says, every time you go on an exploration, how do you mentally prepare? It's a really good question. And until recently, I didn't at all. So when I cycle around the world, I knew I needed to be physically fit, and I was thinking, right, it's going to be physically tough. I didn't think at all about the mental side, the fact that I was going to be lonely and homesick, and that the end would be 4 years away, and how could I motivate myself? So I think I really underestimated the mental side of adventures. But the more I do adventures, the more I get used to those sort of things, and it just becomes part of my daily thinking. Thomas, what was your most challenging expedition? I think rowing the ocean. It was only 45 days, but I found that really hard. How would you define a successful expedition? Well, I think often I would say that a successful expedition is you get from the start to the finish and you don't die. Hooray, success. But actually, I'm writing a new version of this book now, Great Adventurers 2, which is all about people who didn't succeed, or things went wrong, or the trip didn't work out as they planned. And I think when I was younger, I'd have thought, that's a failure, that's bad, that's not good. But actually, from the people I'm writing about in my new book, you realise that when something doesn't go wrong, you learn so much. And you try to go this way, but you end up this way, and maybe that way is more interesting. We don't know what's going to happen in our life next year, and it's quite exciting to just relax a bit and just see what happens and try our best to learn from whatever happens in whatever situation comes along. So success, I think now, is not about getting to the end as you planned. It's about enjoying it, appreciating it, and learning lessons from what happened. Julia says, why did you start doing hard challenges? I started hard challenges because I felt that my life was a bit easy. I went to school, and then I'd probably get a job, and I'd earn some money, and maybe I'd go on holiday, and I thought, maybe, come on, I can push myself harder in life. Let's try something really difficult. Let's go somewhere really hot, really cold, really hard, really just feel what it's like to be properly alive. So I wanted to test myself, to push myself, and just try and do something really, really difficult. For example, I say to you, how many press-ups can you do? And you go, I can do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, great. We didn't learn anything about that. What about if you think, how many press-ups can you do in a week? And you challenge yourself and think, boom, really try. By the end of the week, you think, wow, I can do things that are harder than I realised. So, yes, testing myself. Hugo, what's the most dangerous adventure you've had? I don't really think of my trips as dangerous because I take risks, but I'm also careful to make sure those risks are under my control and so not very dangerous. So I try and avoid danger, really. I really like being alive. I don't want to get injured. Alexander, what do you do when the going gets tough mentally and physically? Well, your body always gives up before your brain. When you're, for example, if you're on a long run and you get to, or a long hike in the hills, you get to a point where you think, I'm so tired, I cannot do another step. I cannot carry on. It's too hard. And imagine then a dinosaur runs out of the bushes and goes, "Rah!" I promise you, your legs would suddenly start running. So what's given up then is not physically, it's mentally. And if you are determined to keep going, then your body will always keep going. Always, 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 always. So what keeps me going mentally is thinking. When I started my bike ride, I used to think about my friends and family, and I'd imagine they were lining the road, cheering me on, saying, come on, keep going, don't give up. And then when I'm tempted to quit, I imagine how I will feel later. If you quit, it's nice, you can just relax. But next week, next year, I'll regret that. I'll wish I'd kept going. So I try and imagine in the future what I'd say to myself, and that's usually, don't give up, keep going. You'll be proud of this in the long run. Right, they were some fantastic questions. Thank you very much for asking me all these questions. And most of all, thank you for reading my books. I really appreciate it. And good luck with all of your own adventures. Bye.